Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at Ultimate Fighting Arena 2022. It was a major that happened this weekend alongside Poor Party, but this major had a Donkey Kong in top 8, so let's just get right into it. We had T taking the whole thing, Glutoni in second, Hikaru in third, Bloom Forever in fourth, Jake and Siski in fifth, Raflo in Space in seventh. We had Mr. R, Troped, I think it was Homika? Yeah, Homika, Big Boss in ninth, and 13th was Longo, Ryuka, Tarek, and Strix. I think that's how I'm saying that. Ryuka. I'm pretty sure that's right. Or Ryukai is probably how I actually say it. But whatever. He's amazing. He plays Fox. This tournament was incredibly stacked. And also, before I forget, huge shout outs to Homika, Ryuka, Longo, Strix, because they're all amazing EU players, but they usually don't get to like these high placements. Like you usually see like a Leon there, or like a Chag there who like underperformed by a little bit, like Trim maybe. Like there's a lot of people here that like overperformed by a couple seeds here, and I just want to give shout outs to them. They all played incredibly well, and also to Darkstalker as well, because I don't know if this was his breakout run because he's had some decent ones before, but he got a couple good wins along the way. So shout outs to him, good Terry as well, and before I forget again, Raflo has been using Siski. Siski, he's using Dark Samus. I mean, Siski is kind of Dark Samus, but which I find super interesting. Because it's like you don't really need a co-main for Palu, but also co-mating is just like an objectively good idea in almost every circumstance. But he tried it like a decent amount. Like he tried it against Neroz, it didn't work. He tried it against Skaz, who upset Chag, by the way, so huge shout out to Skaz, and it worked one game, and then he switched to Palu, won the set. And then he 3-0'd Darkstalker with it, and then he kind of stopped using it towards the top 13. I don't know if he was just like messing around, if he's like seriously trying it for some of Palu's bad matchups, which is like which ones, but interesting nonetheless. And then Chag also underperforming his seed by a little bit. He ran into Nightox, which is definitely an interesting match for sure. Nightox is also insane. And then Nightox fell to Jake right after, and then he fell to Ska, as we said earlier. So to two unusual characters, honestly, I'd be pretty miffed, but also like Nightox is like incredibly insane proven player, and then Skaz, I'm not actually as familiar with Skaz. I haven't pulled it up here, and I think this is probably his best run ever. 33rd at VCA Vienna, which is pretty similar actually. 7th at this tournament, losing to BMW. That's a good name. 33rd, so he's mainly getting 33rd, but these are like 129 to like a 33rd at Ultimate Fighting, or a 25th at Ultimate Fighting Arena. That's a pretty big blow up, or blow up, I guess. So he should be super happy with that, and he's also playing Toon Link / Young Link, I guess, which is maybe that's reporting error. I don't actually know, but point is, that's an insane run for him. He should be very happy with that. And then let's get it out of the way. Hikaru. Hikaru plays Donkey Kong and Roy, and at this tournament, his Donkey Kong was like God. He beat Griffith with Donkey Kong, didn't win a game with Roy, switched off. 3-1 Leon with Donkey Kong only, lost a game with Roy, 3-2'd Gluto with Donkey Kong, 3-2'd Bloom with Donkey Kong, and took a game off Tease Kazuya with Donkey Kong. And then in the run back against Gluto, he took a game off with 2 games off Donkey Kong, almost reverse 3-0'd, and he tried the brawler. What? How? I don't understand how, like, both Hikaru and Chunky Kong have been making runs recently with DK, which is, like, not real. Like, that shouldn't be happening. And they're getting wins on, like, top 10 players, like Cola, Bloom, Gluto. I don't know if Bloom's top 10 yet, but he's in contention for it, honestly. Like, these are such insane players, and they're beating all of them, which, with DK, I don't understand. It's just, like, it just shows they are so good. Maybe DK's not as bad as we thought. I'm praying he is, because I don't need another heavy and high tier, because that's 2 is, I mean, actually 3 is too many. And then Bloom Forever also used Joker against Gluto, and it was like kind of the same thing as his brawler. It was a Fundies brawler, or a Fundies Joker. No combos, no like gun tech, no anything like that. He was like, I'm a better player than you, I'm going to outplayer you, and he did for that game. Even though Gluto did take the set, which is actually a pretty big deal. I think this is Gluto's first time ever taking it. I think there was 3-0 in Bloom's favor in the past, which is, he should be very happy with that. And it was a very good set as well. You could tell Glutony wanted it so bad because he usually doesn't SDI Bayo combos because of his hand problems. But in Game 5, like last stock, I think he was at low percent and Bloom was at a pretty high percent. Bloom was making a comeback and he SDI'd like crazy out of a Bayo combo that was crucial. Like Bloom was not ready for it, did not cover it at all because there was like a huge mix-up, and he managed to win it. So he saved that bag of tricks, honestly. I'm sure his hands are like hell, but hey, he got the dub. Got that second place, which he should be happy with because he has been struggling a bit in Europe recently, and I think this is the first time in a couple months he's like overperformed or performed to seed because he was seeded third for this tournament. Not that that's like super outlandish, by the way, but hey, he said, "Hey, I'm still the GOAT," but then T said, "Hey, I'm still from Japan," and Japan is Japan's kind of crazy. And like T has been so, I think he's won the last 2 tournaments in Europe now, which is insane. And then he got third at Wanted, so he's been doing incredibly well there, beating Gluto, beating Hikaru, beating Siski, and then I think he beat Mr. R, Lancelot, and Streaks, and like Streaks got what 13th, Lancelot got 17th. So he took names this tournament. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 2 Fox and 13. I didn't even know this. That's interesting for sure. So yeah, T should be very happy that he played. I mean, he won the tournament. He's absolutely unreal right now. Definitely top 10 for sure. I know he wasn't in the last top 10 video I made, but hey, that list is constantly changing, and T is super happy that bounced back from Ludwig's as well. That has to feel good. Siski always staying consistent. Bloom getting 4th place in Underform to seed, but still, he got 4th place. He should be happy. Then Hikaru, we already talked about that. And then in the loser side of top 8, we had Space making it through, and Space has been a threat in Europe for a very long time, and this is a good tournament from him. I think it was mainly Aegis this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like against Mezcal, it was Aegis to win. Jake, it was only Aegis, which is, I would consider this an upset for sure. And then against Bloom, he took a game with Inkling, but he did end up losing the set. And then Gluttony Space, we're not going to look at that. And then he did beat Homika with Pyramithra as well. Like, he should be very happy with that. It seems like the Aegis is now the main, which is like, it should be, sadly. I wish it was Inkling, but it's just, the character's not good, or not good enough to be super consistent. And Space is a very consistent player despite playing Inkling, and I guess Aegis now, which is, yeah, he should be very happy with that as well. Homika, we didn't really talk about this, right? We just mentioned his name, but he beat Ryuka, he beat Neteru. In winner's side, he beats Tarek, which I would definitely say is an upset, and honestly an upset over Neteru as well, because Neteru has been farming as of late, so he should also be very happy. We should have a lot of happy people in this tournament. Big Boss, I think that's an underperformance of seed. I think he was top 8, but also he did run into Gluttony, so you can't feel too bad. Mr. R into Raffalo, and also Mr. R has been trying out the Aegis, which is like, honestly, thank God it's not the Crom, because I just hate seeing him do that to himself. Also, I feel like I should say this right now. I'm really mean to Mr. R's Crom. Of course, it's amazing. The Crom is still good. It could still, like, probably top 8 most majors. It's just, like, Crom is just such an inconsistent character, and he is, like, such an amazing player, and it just feels like it's holding it back. But the Aegis, even though it kind of suffers from the same problems of Crom, is still better. So we're going to see how he does with that, and then keeping the Sheik is always good. Sheik content is hype. Jake taking it in the Ditto. The Steve Ditto meta is so interesting to me because you have, like, Akala, who's insane. Maybe Jake's insane. It actually didn't... Or, God, that's not a sentence. I was not able to watch that one set. But Akala is really good against, like, Onin. Maybe that's Akala Onin. Maybe Jake would do really good against Akala. We need to see that, honestly, because Steve Dittos are very, very funny. You can love the character, hate the character. Watching the funny blockmen do it to themselves is... It's good for me. Good humor. Raffalo, I think he had a pretty deep losers run as well, because he lost early on to... Let's see. He lost early on to Troped, and then did he get the run back on to Steve? No, he did not. But he beat Neardoz, who we already talked about. Skaz, who beat Chag, who... Did he beat him with... No, he did beat him with Paul. We looked at that. And then Darkstalker again with Samus, beating Tarek with Greninja, or Tarek with Palu, and then Mr. R with Palu. Then he did fall to Jake, so he actually got double eliminated. That's not a sentence. He got double eliminated by Steve this tournament, which is a little unfortunate, but hey, it happens to the best of us and the worst of us, to be honest, because that Steve is everywhere. Z also had a very good tournament. He was an invader from Canada, I believe, so huge shouts to him. I believe he upset... Oh, God, I don't remember. Who was it? I'm not even going to pretend like I remember. I had it earlier, too. I'm so mad. Ludo, who was also an invader, ironically. So, hey, the whole tournament was rigged. Didn't even matter anyway. Wasn't even a major because the invaders had to play each other. Like, what the hell is that? Is there anyone else I want to look at in specific before we start wrapping this up? Nature, we already kind of talked about. Orion staying very consistent as well. Leon, always consistent, always in that area. Nighthawk's actually had a pretty good run. I don't know if I already talked about that, but I think he got upset pretty early on. I don't know who it was by, though. He got upset by Darkstalker, who was, again, one of the people we already talked about before, and then he went on a pretty decent losers run, to be honest. Like, he got a lot of really good wins on the way there. He beat Chag, which we mentioned. Did lose to Jake, but then he also beat Trim and Sernite, who were both amazing players. Trim just coming off that very hot performance at VCA, so that's a great run from Nighthawks as well. I don't know if he was actually getting to be a Slingshot tech with Lucas, but Slingshot Lucas is broken, so it's going to be super cool to see if he actually starts, like, integrating that, because I've seen the clips on Twitter. That stuff is not okay. Please never put me against a Lucas in bracket, because I don't want to deal with that. My player of the tournament, I mean, it's Hikaru. Come on. He top 8 with Donkey Kong. What can I say? Like, listen, Homika, an amazing run. Got to ninth place with Rosalina. Not a good character. Like, super, super good run. It's Donkey Kong. And he beat, like, two, like, top 20 players. Like, come on. Sets the tournament to watch. The Hikaru once you play Donkey Kong. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Please. How do you do that? And then, what else? Top 8 was, like, really, really good this tournament. Glue City Bloom was probably the best of the tournament that didn't have Donkey Kong in it. Grands was great. Just like watching T adapt with funny Kazuya is always amazing. Just like, I don't know how he spans Electric Ring Godfist and still beat top players, but like, he does it, man. Gluto Space was pretty good if you want to see Pithra lose, because I know a lot of people are haters of that. Bloom, if you want to see Jake lose, because I know people hate Steve, like character hate this tournament. They decent. And then I think Bloom Hikaru was also amazing tournament. I mean, just like, synopsis, go watch a Hikaru set. They're all just such high levels of play, and it's with DK, which is just very funny. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If there is a top player that I left out, please let me know down below, because unfortunately, we can't cover anyone, or this video would be a million years long. But if there's like any major runs, any big upsets I did not notice, like, because it's very possible, please let me know down below. I'll pin the comment or heart or whatever. And thank you guys for the support. It means the world to me. Video ideas are always helpful. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Blah, blah, blah. Be sure to sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.